Okay, we're at the Alliance for Community Media, and we're getting toward the end. And Donna Liu is here from New Jersey. And Donna, tell us why you're here and why you like public access television.
Well, I'm here in several capacities. So I'm a member of the National Board of the Alliance for Community Media, and there is a board meeting right after this conference where we kind of set the plan and the strategy for the year ahead. I'm also here as a vendor. I work for Teleview Corporation, which provides a lot of the broadcast technology for PEG and local broadcasters. And I am also on the board of my local town's access station, and so I share a lot of the concerns of the people here about the future of public access. And so for all those reasons, this is a good place for me to be, to kind of network, share ideas, see what other people are doing, and strategize.
Well, I know you're in Princeton, New Jersey, and we're from South Bend, so you actually have a Notre Dame university. Princeton is huge. In fact, when I went to Notre Dame, and I visited Princeton to see if I wanted to go there, and that was way beyond me. But I remember visiting Princeton. Okay, and for South Bend, in your community, how does public access impact your community?
Well, I think it's important to remember that PEG stands for Public Educational and Government Access.
Okay.
And I think all three of these communities have different but complementary things to share with the communities. So they come from different perspectives, they have different amount of resources. And in the case of Princeton University obviously is a huge intellectual resource for the community. A lot of what happens there can be shared with the public and is shared through their educational channel. But on the other hand, the public doesn't have access to the Princeton University studios, so the importance of the public channel comes into play there. There are a lot of communities in Princeton who have no relationship to the university, who can walk into the public access station and create shows on health, on Hispanic issues, on, organic cooking shows, all kinds of things. And they don't have anywhere else to create and to publicize this sort of content.
Have you ever had your own show? I mean, have you ever used public access yourself?
I have been a television producer. That was my career.
Wow.
But I am also camera shy, and so I am always behind the camera, not in front of it.
Okay.
That's by choice.
Right. But you're on the camera now, so
right.
Wow. So you've seen a lot of it from behind the scenes, and you've seen the benefit that it has getting the community involved with itself. How do you speak to that?
Well,
a community that has it versus a community that doesn't have it?
So I think there are several aspects of public access to consider. One of them is to create content of local importance, of local relevance and significance for people to watch. The other is to teach people how to create their own content, or how to create good, thoughtful, meaningful content that they want to share with their community. And I think one without the other is just half of the PEG mission. To do the real holistic PEG mission, you have to do both the proactive and it's not a one-to-many world anymore in this media world. It's a many-to-many. Mm-hmm. And I think PEG's role in that is going to be critical.
And you see PEG changing? I mean, we're at the conference, we're hearing all kinds of it might not be funded as much in the future, but what do you see for the future of public access channels?
Well, I think the future of public access is going to be very much intertwined with the internet. Public access was born as a cable phenomenon, and if it remains in that comfort zone, if it doesn't get out of that comfort zone, I think PEG will be severely challenged by the internet. I do think PEG operations that embrace the internet will simply travel into the future, will ride that wave and continue to be relevant.
because the niche of PEG is local, right? Where YouTube, if you want to produce something, you can put it on YouTube, but it doesn't necessarily impact your local community. Where PEG enables you to address your local community first,
Right.
and then go beyond it.
So as the ACM president is here at this conference, and he addressed this last session that I attended, and his point was that localism is really the key to what makes PEG relevant. It's not the technology, it's not the format of video or whether you can push the right button to send it out over a cable or a fiber. That's not the core of the PEG mission. The core of the PEG mission is to be the voice for localism and to make communities understand how important it is to still have locally relevant content in an age where media is global. Who else is going to look after the local interests?
And PEG is really, that's what does it. There's nothing else that can achieve that kind of marketplace, local marketplace of ideas.
Well, just to play the devil's advocate, there are other things.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it's not just PEG, and
Okay.
because of the internet, there is a parallel movement in hyperlocal journalism, in hyperlocal marketing, and I think to ignore this is to put blinders on. And I really think that localism has to recognize that there are all these ways of creating community through electronic media.
So PEG has to join in with that. They're going to have to converge,
Exactly.
and it will enhance the localism.
Right.
And communities that do that will be a little bit more progressive or more
Richer.
richer,
They'll
healthier.
be richer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so if you were going to move to a community from college or something, and everything being the same, one had a vibrant public access facility, that could be a factor,
Right.
don't you think? I mean, that's a realistic.
So there are, there's the story about the fellow who created the local patch news operation with AOL, which is not as vibrant as it could have been, but for various reasons. He was driving along in his suburban town one day, and he noticed these little signs on the grass advertising tryouts for soccer and other open houses for schools. And he was thinking to himself, why is it in this day of electronic media we still have to read about these things by the roadside? And he said, aha, I am going to create an online local platform for all of this kind of community communication. And it is that kind of thinking, I think, that is, even though patch itself might not be around for the long term, but some form of electronic localism is going to exist and persist into the future. And I think PEG has a role to play in that because, first of all, PEG stations understand, they're embedded in the community. And secondly, they can sort of teach the community how to use certain tools of communication which are not necessarily taught in the schools,
No.
So,
But the schools can get involved. I mean, it's like,
and should. Yeah,
Right.
and PEG should get involved with the schools as well.
now, how long has the public access station been going in Princeton there? I mean, how long has that been in existence?
So the Princeton station has been around for about 16, 17 years now.
Okay. Because in South Bend it shut down when they passed some of those, AT&T lobbied, and the laws went to the state level.
Right.
And then we were shut down, and then that's what we came into being, our group, to advocate to bring it back up.
Right.
And it did take 6 years. So I mean,
Right.
it's hard to do that.
It is. It's not easy, and PEG stations are more resource intensive than a hyperlocal website, and so it does because the production standards and the requirements for the technical requirements. So it is something that the community should support. It's not really a one-person operation. It really requires community support.
Right. And that's what we're hoping to do in South Bend. Next year we're going to have this the Alliance for Community Media in South Bend, and I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
and maybe I'll see you there next year. I don't know. But,
Well, I hope so.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, Donna, for sharing that.
Well, thank you, Peter.
Sure.